Hello and welcome back to Learning Canadian English. I'm your host, Avery.
And I'm Zia. We're so glad you could join us for episode 23. We've got a really fun topic today, one that will help you sound more like a local when you're speaking English in Canada.
That's right, Zia. Today we are diving into the world of slang. Specifically, we're counting down the top 7 slang words and phrases you'll hear in Canada. Learning slang is a great way to understand the culture and connect with native speakers on a more casual level.
Exactly. It's the kind of English you won't always find in textbooks. So grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's get started with our list. Avery, do you want to kick us off with number 10? Gong show, eh? That's a good one. You really don't hear that outside of Canada. I remember my first apartment hunting experience in Toronto. Now, that was a gong show. Lines around the block, bidding wars. It was wild.
All right, moving on to number 9, we have a word that might cause some confusion for our American friends. That word is serviette.
Ah, the serviette. This is a great example of how Canadian English has been influenced by French. A serviette is what Americans would call a napkin. It's a square piece of paper or cloth you use to wipe your mouth and hands during a meal. The word comes directly from French.
Exactly. So if you're at a restaurant in Canada, the server will almost always ask you if you need any extra serviettes, not napkins. You could say, "Can I have a few extra serviettes, please?" It's a small difference, but it's a dead giveaway that you're in Canada. I'd love to. Coming in at number 5 on our list is the word kerfuffle.
Kerfuffle? I love that word. It's so fun to say. Can you spell that out for our listeners?
Of course, it's spelled Kerfuffle. A kerfuffle is basically a small commotion, a bit of a fuss, or a minor disagreement. It's not a serious fight, just a bit of a chaotic situation. You'd use it to describe a situation that is a little messy but not dangerous or truly angry. It implies a bit of disorganization and maybe some ruffled feathers, but nothing more serious than that.
Right. So you could say, there was a bit of a kerfuffle in the grocery store when two people tried to grab the last carton of milk at the same time.
Perfect example. It's a slightly old-fashioned word, but you will definitely still hear Canadians use it. It's a polite and almost charming way to describe a small conflict.
A very Canadian way to describe it. All right, that was number 5, kerfuffle. What's number 4 on our list?
Number 4 is a very important word for our cold Canadian winters. It's the word toque.
Ah, yes, the toque. This one can be tricky because of its spelling. It's spelled Toque.
That's it. And a toque is simply a winter hat. In other countries, you might call it a beanie, but here in Canada, it's a toque.
It's an essential piece of clothing for about 6 months of the year here. So a Canadian parent might say to their child, make sure you grab your toque before you go outside.
Exactly. So if you're visiting Canada in the winter and someone tells you to wear a toque, you know they're talking about a warm, kitted hat.
A very practical piece of slang. Okay, so we've had kerfuffle and toque. What's our number 3, Avery?
Number 3 is something you'll probably hear every single day if you're near a coffee shop. It's double-double.
Oh, a classic. This is a big part of Canadian coffee culture. A double-double is a coffee with 2 creams and 2 sugars. Double the cream, double the sugar.
That's right. This term was made popular by the famous Canadian coffee chain Tim Hortons. So when you're in line, you don't have to say, "Can I have a medium double-double, please?" You can just say,
Can I get a medium double-double, please? It's quick, easy, and everyone will know exactly what you mean.
It's a true Canadianism. You'll sound like a local for sure if you order a double-double.
For sure. Okay, we are moving on to our top 2 now. These are some heavy hitters in the world of Canadian slang. What's number 2, Zia?
At number 2, we actually have a pair of words. They are Loonie and toonie.
Ah, our money. This is a really important one for everyday life. Can you break down what a loonie and a toonie are?
Absolutely. In Canada, our $1 and $2 denominations are coins, not paper bills. The $1 coin is called a loonie. That's Loonie. It gets its name from the picture of a bird, a loon, on one side of the coin.
Right. And following that logic, when the $2 coin was introduced, Canadians needed a nickname for it. So, toonie was born. It's spelled Toonie. It's a combination of the word two and loonie.
It's pretty clever, actually. So you might hear someone ask, "Do you have a toonie for the vending machine?" Or, "This coffee costs 3 loonies." Everyone uses these terms, from kids to grandparents.
It's so much more common than saying $1 coin. So remember, a loonie is $1 and a toonie is $2.
All right, we've arrived at number 1, the moment everyone has been waiting for. I think most people can probably guess what it is. The number 1 most famous Canadian slang word is eh.
Of course it is, spelled EH with a question mark. Is the stereotype of Canadian English, but it's a stereotype for a reason. We do use it.
We do. Now, it's a very versatile word. It can be used in a few different ways. The most common way is to turn a statement into a question, similar to saying right or don't you think at the end of a sentence.
For example, you could say, "It's pretty cold today, eh?" You're stating a fact, but you're also looking for the other person to agree with you.
Exactly. Another use is to express surprise or to ask someone to repeat themselves, like saying "what?" or "pardon?" Like if someone says something surprising, you might just respond with "eh?"
That's true. It's not used quite as much as the movies might make you think. Canadians don't end every single sentence with but it is a real part of our speech. It makes conversations feel more inclusive and friendly.
It really does. So there you have it, the most iconic Canadian word, eh.
What a great list! Let's do a quick recap. At number 5, we had kerfuffle, meaning a small commotion.
Number 4 was toque, which is a Canadian's name for a winter hat or beanie.
At number 3 was double double, a coffee with 2 creams and 2 sugars.
Number 2 was our currency nicknames, loonie for the $1 coin and toonie for the $2 coin.
And finally, at number 1, we had the classic Canadian eh.
We hope this list helps you better understand and maybe even use some Canadian English. The best way to learn is to listen and to practice, so don't be afraid to try some of these out.
That's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for tuning in to Learning Canadian English. Join us next time when we'll be talking about common pronunciation differences between Canadian and American English.
Until then, take care and happy learning!